What is up, friends, YouTube motorcycle enthusiasts? Accelerate here with a video about my home course or home track. So I've been wanting to do this one for a while too, so now that I'm back on the bike, I am good to go. So before I show you guys what I do with my small little course here on my property, I just want to talk about a little bit about my carpal tunnel surgery. Obviously I'm back making videos again, and obviously I am riding. So with that, everything's going really well. I had the left hand, which was done endoscopically, which means they go in from the wrist underneath. I do not have a scar on the top of my palm. They go from the inside to cut the muscle fascia to relieve the medial nerve, which is causing all that numbness and all that crap that's happening, right? So that was done on July 25th, and then 1 month later, about on September 1st, the right hand was done. So at this point, it is November, what we got, 18th, 19th, something like that. So yeah, the strength is slowly starting to come back into my hands. I could ride after the last surgery in 6 weeks. The doc cleared me right around the middle of October. So I've been on the bike for about 6 weeks, trying to ride as much as possible. It's pretty obvious that my strength isn't quite there. I've been doing stretches and all the good stuff to bring back my wrists and my hand strength. A lot of shoulder shrugs, a lot of farmer's carry and grip related type stuff, but also trying to balance not doing too much at once because of scar tissue buildup. So nonetheless, I will say, well, my impressions are that if you're having nighttime numbness, if you're having nerve pain after riding from either vibration or use, and your hands go numb frequently, I 100% recommend going to see a doctor and getting treatment for carpal tunnel. So it affects some people, other people it doesn't. Some people talk about arm pump and the problem they have with the arm pump. I never really had arm pump, but I started getting carpal tunnel pretty bad. So anyway, without further ado, just want to say I'm back and I'm training for the 2023 SEER season, and I may do some AMA races as well. That's what's on the menu. I'm going to do as much as I can. With that, this is my property. So my property is about 5 acres, which includes what's by my house and then also across the street. I haven't really tapped into what's across the street. So my track is about it's about 3 miles to play with. I don't have a lot of big hills, unfortunately, but I'm trying to make it as complex and as hard enduro related as possible. So I'm going to show you guys what I use, and then I'll probably just switch to audio commentary because I'll be out of breath and doing all that stuff as I'm running laps. Just know that I have multiple loops. There's one main loop, and then I can kind of like choose your destiny of what I want to do, whether I want to make it hard or the hardest or whatever, and then I can run it backwards and all that as well. So without further ado, I'm going to do my hard enduro loop, and then I will also run a couple loops of normal stuff so you guys can see it, and then I'll comment on it. So all right guys, thanks for watching. Time to rip. Using my Garmin watch with heart rate monitor. F3B Motorsports has my lap times and my average heart rate and the amount that I've been riding and all that. Highly recommend that stuff. I'm not sponsored. I pay out of pocket like a normal person, but you know, maybe one day, right? All right, get the music kicking on the Cena. Alright, I am off. This step up here is the harder of the 3 options that I have to get up here on the platform. And I put this spot right here because I wanted to get better initially at having basically little to no run up and being able to zap up out or just, you know, lug up out. Traction is really good on my property. I do have a fair amount of
leaves and pine needles, but it is kind of sandy. The dirt is pretty sticky. So this is a new addition. This tree fell last year, and I've been wanting to do more with it because it's large. But this is one of the things that I wanted to add. It's downhill or uphill, however you look at it, so it's a little bit too advanced for me to come at it from the bottom. So it would be a pretty legit double blip to get up it. But as you can see, it's pretty long there. So my plan is to cut a portion of it off and then put a log crossing there. It's a good sized tree, so that'll be in the works. Also, what you see here is just a lot of maneuvering the bike and getting used to moving the bike around and shooting angles. That's what I really wanted to do. The overall theme here with my home track or my home loop or whatever you want to call it is I'm trying to make everything as useful as possible to build the skills that I'm lacking. So one of my skills, for example, was whenever I did saddleback, there was a lot of off-camber stuff. So that's why I added that off-camber. And over time, I've actually kind of made a groove into the side of the hill. But working that off-camber, especially in the wet, is good stuff. This section coming up here is also a new addition. This is probably the steepest hill in the property, or the hardest to get up. It's not much, but it's pretty steep, and there's not much run up, which is what I need to get good at, being able to zap the bike. And there's not a lot of place up there that I've cleared up top. It's just it's up and back down. The hill is different on both sides, so there's kind of a drop off on that one. That's pretty much the gist of the hard enduro portion that I've put together. This is a kind of more in the woods technical stuff. As you can see, there's a lot of my property that's really just untapped. I can do loop back and forth a good bit. I just haven't done it yet. A lot of the property was very grown up with vine and briar, and what you see, I've cleared a lot of it. So much more to come, and I want to ultimately add to the length, right, to make the loops longer. Alright, so this is the main loop that I just did, but backwards. You know, the first time I ran this new loop that I put together backwards, it was immediately apparent that it's harder. It's substantially harder running it backwards, and it's awkward. Some of the stuff that you get used to, or that I got used to, really, and it's just, it's more difficult. It's challenging, which is good because that's what I want to do. I don't want it to be muscle memory at any point. There's only so much I can do with this terrain and with this property. But at the end of the day, introducing new, more technical, harder type things and obstacles in my little track here is great. actually intentionally left that really the top cleared spot really tight up there because I wanted to. That's one of the things that I've had issues with is turning and dropping down in to steep terrain. It's just a balance thing and a confidence thing. You're off camber, you're kind of like dropping in with the bars locked or all the way, you know, at least tight to one side. So I left it that way so I would have to do that going left and right, whether I was running it backwards or forward. And I get my off camber here. I know the GoPro flattens everything out because it's fisheye and it's a tiny lens and all that, but it's a pretty good off camber there. It is pretty slick when it's wet. In this portion, the first time I ran this backwards, it's really funny. I thought, how am I going to get around? Because this is a downhill and I'm dropping in, and then you know it's that the bounce and then moving the rear of your bike. Using the suspension really, and I remember that. I remember when Rich Larson made a video on that, you know, and it totally works. It was if I didn't have that technique there, I would have to get off and like lift the rear and pivot it around just because it's an awkward spot. So that's definitely a good place to practice my the rear raises or whatever you would call them. Yes, this is a really good example of whenever I first ran this backwards. I noticed going back up the side that I usually drop into was, you'll notice this little undercut there. There's kind of a step, so it definitely was a little bit more challenging. But again, it just helped me get used to, you know, different types of stuff. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. It comes back around, and that finishes off the loop. So that's my home track, guys. My home property. You know, I feel really fortunate that I'm able to have the property and to ride at home like this. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you got something out of it. If you got any questions, comments, or actually if you have any recommendations for my home, for adding any kind of terrain or anything that you saw that maybe I could try to do more. I'm well aware, more logs, I need more step ups. I would love to get like some other obstacles, some man-made obstacles in there. If any of you guys have ever done that kind of stuff, it's definitely time consuming, and but it's going to be worth it in the end. So leave a comment down below, and I appreciate y'all's time. Hope you guys are able to get out there, get on two wheels, ride a dirt bike. This is Accelerate once again, signing off.